We often think that conflict feels like this. It feels like a threat. It feels like a threat to our identity, to our ego, to our resources, to our sense of self. And when we feel threatened, our brains do not work well. We don't see conflict as a productive occurrence in your life. We see it as something that's destructive, that's something to get over, that's something we have to resolve. And that's because when we feel threatened, whether it's because two people on our team can't get along and the project is at risk of failing, or it's because we're being chased down by a bear in the woods, our brain goes into what emotional intelligence experts call amygdala hijack. And that's where the amygdala, the lower, what we call often the reptile part of our brain, takes over. And that's the part of our brain that's meant to protect us, to kick us into high gear so that we can run or we can take action so that we don't get hurt. And instead of using our prefrontal cortex, the front part of our brain that's used for rational thinking, the amygdala tells us to fight or freeze. And when we're under stress, we think a lot about what are the consequences of action? What if I say something? What will happen? But we don't always think about what are the consequences if I don't say something? Rather than asking, what if I say something? What if I do something? I want you to ask yourself, what if I don't take action? That's an incredibly important skill when learning to navigate conflict and improve relationships at work. Because when we don't do anything, when we nod, when we smile, we end up, often our teams end up, in what we call artificial harmony. And this is where we all nod and smile and say, yes, I agree. We don't disagree. We don't surface tensions. And unfortunately, what happens when we're in artificial harmony is that there are lots of unvoiced ideas, simmering tensions, perhaps innovations that haven't been allowed to see the light of day because people are afraid to speak up.